my home state of Texas, Ainsley.
We've been talking about this guy, James Talarico. He won the Senate Democratic primary, and he will be the Democratic nominee. He beat out Jasmine Crockett. But when you look at some of the comments he's made, we're questioning, is he more radical than Texas is ready for? Listen to these comments.
America.
Our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front.
There are many more than 2 biological sexes. In fact, there are 6.
God is both masculine and feminine and everything in between. God is non-binary.
So he says he's a pastor. Born and raised in Texas. Our pastors don't talk like that. I mean, you can't even get alcohol on Sunday in Texas in the Bible Belt. So, look, I understand the play.
You mean in church or?
No, you can't get alcohol. Oh.
Yeah.
You can't go to the store to get alcohol.
You can't buy it all on Sunday. You can buy it after like 1 o'clock.
Yeah. You can't buy it. You can go into like bars and all that. But if you want to go, like, we have strict standards. They don't serve
until certain
They won't serve.
No matter what gender you're.
Right. So we're that strict on that. But this guy doesn't know about the gender of God.
They make him out to be the next generation of savvy Democratic politicians.
Not going to connect.
That is center left.
No way.
And the statements he make are anything but.
If you start talking like that, does he know where he is? He's in Texas. It's just not.
But he just got the nomination, so he just won.
There are a lot of Democrats there, but I don't know if they know what they're voting for.
It took years to develop the most woke creature of the Democrat Party. A creature so woke and retarded that it believes in its core programming that men should have abortion rights. Weak beta males who come into contact with this creature will suddenly have the urge to order fresh kale and complain about your diesel truck because Talarico was bred from the stem cells of the woke mind virus. He is the most deranged swamp creature ever created.
Dude does suck. I mean, James Talarico. Man, we are going to go in this morning and welcome back. Good, happy, and wonderful Thursday morning to you. Like, you've been a parent before. Like, sometimes you lose, actually, track of what day of the week that it actually is. I have. We've been just rolling nonstop. Alex and I just, like, hopped off the phone talking about this. It has either been a Bad Bunny Super Bowl performance, a black bagging of Nicolas Maduro, a Mexico in collapse, a world war, or a Trump assassination at Mar-a-Lago. Every single weekend of the year. They always wait for the weekends of this. So it's like the time is just like a flat circle at this point for me. Time is just a flat circle. Like nothing matters. It's just all rolls. It's just all rolls into one. So check the script. Thursday, March 5th, 2026. James Talarico exposed. We're going to spend the show talking to the forces of Texas that won yesterday. We're going to have the man who defeated Dan Crenshaw on the program, Steve Toth. We're going to have Ken Paxton, the man who's in a runoff, and talk with him about what's going on with John Cornyn and President Trump endorsement. Will he drop out of the race if President Trump endorses John Cornyn? What's that about exactly? Brandon Herrera, who's in a runoff with somebody who's like a total and complete scumbag. His name's Soleil Gonzalez. They're all going to be on the show. So we're going to like lock in and get you the news about the Lone Star State that is critical when it comes to a map of Democrats potentially trying to secure power for the rest of their lives. And that's what would happen if they were able to flip a Senate seat in Texas. You know, if the trends play out, and the trends were not great for Republicans, no doomer. And, you know, this happens every couple of years where they say Ted Cruz is going to lose his seat. They say John Cornyn is going to lose his seat. But Texas, they've been playing hard for Texas. They've been putting as much criminal alien activity into Texas. They've been importing as many people that are non-Texas culture natives. I mean, look at the number of mosques that have been built. Texas is a culture, and it's a culture that's fading fast, sadly. I pray that this isn't the case. But if we don't want it to be the case, we're going to have to fight for it. And that's what we're going to do on this program. As Texas goes, so goes the rest of the country. Texas is going to be getting 6 new congressional seats. 6. Democrats are terrified. Up this morning, Barack Obama out mewling and bitching and begging for Virginia to rig their elections. to kick out Republican seats. Boy, oh boy, Indiana's going to have some primaries. I pray to God that the Indiana primaries kick out those senators in Indiana who refuse to redistrict, who refuse to help President Trump secure a House majority. It's going to be a tough 2026 midterms. That's why you got to get your full armor of God on. You got to get your fighting spirit back. But this is going to be a tough one, man. And they're gunning for Texas. And unlike California, Texas is gaining power. Texas is where huge multinational corporations are moving to. Texas is where a ton of people are planning on resettling. The financial ecosystem of the country is moving to Dallas. There are so many different companies. Of course, Elon Musk is one of them. Fled San Francisco for Texas. And many of the major companies that Elon runs, X, Grok, Tesla, the Gigafactory in Austin. And, much like I love the state of Florida, and a lot of these positive trends are happening in Florida, and I don't even mind it anymore. Like when it comes to libs moving to Florida, like I don't even mind it anymore because I feel like Florida has such a strong culture. We've become just like a super majority red state. The culture of Florida is so strong. I don't mind. Like I've watched these Democrats on my own block, like melt into DeSantis voters, melt into sort of very light. Maybe they wouldn't post it on social media, but like Trump policies, like they love them. And I am worried about Texas. I'm worried that Texas has been Florida for so long that they've lost track of who they are. They've lost their will to fight. They've lost that fighting spirit. Texas has been so red for so long. It's been so Republican for so long. We had the Bush family, right? The Bushes were here. That they were ripe for the picking, because that's what happens when you get fat, happy, lazy, comfortable, and you just kind of settle in and you are able to be manipulated the way they did in Georgia. Like a good example of that is Georgia. And Democrats know that this is extinction level event for them, because in the 2030 census, as we have often covered, Florida's going to gain 5 seats. Texas is going to gain 6 seats. Red states are planning on gaining all of the electoral seats. Blue states are losing a net swing of 20 electoral votes to red kingdoms. We just got to keep it. We just got to be strong. We got to be smart. I'm really happy with some of the results in Texas, obviously. I'm really happy that some of the more inauthentic and cringe Republicans lost or got wounded. And so, again, we're going to use our show to consolidate and to cast a vision. No victory is assured. You have to fight for every single one of them. And so, again, a stacked show. The Battle of Texas is before us. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Patriot Mobile is the cell phone provider for our company, for our show, for our broadcast. When we were out in the field or when we're traveling or when we're right here at home and we need to lock in with you, Patriot Mobile is the company that makes sure that we have the capacity to reach you and to, fight back. There is a monumental amount of energy right now in order to shut down shows like ours, in order to cancel shows like ours. Get ready. It's going to happen. And it's like a little thought off the top here. We're going to get to some Trump polling right away before we jump into the Texas battlefield. But it's time to lock in with people that actually truly support your worldview. The woke did not go away. They haven't been vanquished. In fact, they are more ravenous and evil than ever. We're going to cover that in whom they put forward James Talarico, exactly what a extreme radical this guy is. Patriot Mobile offers prioritized premium access on all 3 major networks, giving you the same or better coverage than the main carriers. That means fast speeds, dependable nationwide coverage, backed by 100% U.S. customer support. Go to patriotmobile.com/Benny. Call 972-PATRIOT today. Use the promo code Benny for a free month of service. Don't wait. patriotmobile.com/Benny. Call 972-PATRIOT. Okay. Trump polling. Check this out. Speaking of George W. Bush, Trump polling. You'll note that Donald Trump is actually polling better than Barack Obama and George Bush. It's exact time in his second term. It's not much better. I wish it was a lot better. But Trump is now officially polling better than, what the Democrats consider the Messiah. We're going to talk about how hedonistic and blasphemous Democrats are in their selection of James Talarico today. But check this out. President Trump Obama, Bush, second-term job approval. President Trump's 2 points above Obama. Please zoom in, Klein. Can't see it. Or at least put the data on screen. Thank you. President Trump's 2 points above Obama and is like an order of magnitude above George W. Bush. I mean, that's 5 points right there. So like, okay, there's a lot of doomers out there. I'm not going to be one of them. As I said yesterday, you take bad Trump with good Trump. There's no, like, come on. Like, I'm no sweet summer child. I'm no spring chicken. Everybody's seen a Trump truth or had like a Trump decision that we disagreed with. I'm so sick of the people who are acting like this is our first rodeo. I'm a 3-time Trump voter. We've been with this movement and on this bandwagon for a long time. To sit there and abandon it, to burn your MAGA hats right now, it's just so incredibly cucked. I mean, honestly, it's just incredibly weak. And I'm going to say this, like, because I think there's a lot of people that actually don't have any fight left in them. And it makes me sad because I actually have something that I'm fighting for. I'm fighting to stay out of jail. I don't commit crimes. We have great, I know that I'll be the first guy locked up. One of them, right? When Democrats get back in charge of the DOJ or the IRS. You know what they're going to do. You saw what they did to Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro. They put them in jail. We don't have the guts to put Bill and Hillary Clinton in jail. They put them in jail. They didn't even bat an eye. They never apologized for it. They killed hundreds of J6ers. I mean, these people committed suicide because they know they were going to get 20 to life for like sending out a meme. Put a meme maker in jail. Douglas Mackey. They charged him for a meme. Do you realize what these people are going to do? Do you realize the vengeance that they're going to visit upon us? And you're going to sit there and not vote for Donald Trump. You're going to sit out the election. Fine, that's your right. I'm never going to sit there and scold you for like what you're going to like, because of a policy disagreement one way or the other that none of us know about. I mean, honestly, they didn't elect me president. They didn't elect you president. They elected Donald Trump president. In that is implicitly the understanding that we're going to end up trusting the judgment of this team, which I think is exceptional, quite frankly. Marco Rubio is exceptional. Exceptional. Pete Hegseth has been exceptional in rebuilding our military. I really like J.D. Vance. I really have liked the policies there. And please, ALX, put up the immigration. I reposted it this morning. Immigration numbers. You know, America's taken 0 refugees. 0. We banged on all day on Tuesday about Ilhan Omar and the fake refugees. You know, the guy that shot up and killed Texans was a fake refugee from Senegal. He came here just to murder. And now the Trump administration has just shut down all refugees. 0. They let in a couple white South Africans. That's the only refugees they've let in. You're talking absolute 0. 0 criminal immigration, 0 refugees in. And now, reporting from this morning from CBS, there has now been an outflow of immigrants, criminal aliens, who've just completely given up because of the rock-solid stonewalling of the administration on immigration policy. Going back to the core of how our immigration policy was originally written. Will you be delivering for our people to the benefit of American happiness, good order, and allegiance to our Constitution? And the answer for the vast majority of the world would be no. You wouldn't actually make America a better, safer, cleaner place, more orderly and Christian place, more desirous place to raise your children. You wouldn't actually secure our children's future. And so these are like very good policies. You have to take the good with the bad. And there have been things that I've publicly very loudly disagreed with President Trump on and the administration. And it just is what it is. That's being like a loving member of the MAGA movement, and you can spark off it without letting that spark burn your MAGA hat down. And so like all the doomers, the black pillars and stuff like that, like you're just not going to get it on the show. You're not going to get like pragmatist, low IQ, smooth brain cheerleading We've screamed until our voices cracked about the Epstein issue, and we were right. We were right. We were right. We were right the instant they released that memo, sort of like absolving Epstein. We were right. We were the first people to call it out. The first people to call it out. We snapped. We lost our minds. I radicalized Charlie on that. It is what it is. I mean, truly, it is what it is. And you do it out of love, not out of hate, because it's our movement too, you know? And so in these times, it's like just absolutely critical to be able to maintain like both sides. You can hold the side up. To sit there in a two-party system and to say, oh, okay, I'm going to vote Democrat, or I'm just going to like allow the Democrats to win, is insane. What it is a vote for them to politically harass you. They'll go to every single Trump voter. They'll find every Trump voter. You think it's just going to be the J6ers? They'll go after you. Look at what they did to Donald Trump. Look what they did to the people around him. Like to sit this out, to turn on Trump, is to sit there. It is like actually an immorality, I would argue. Not because Trump is some type of messianic figure. He's not. He's a man just like me and you. But because of what the left stands for, which is what we're going to get into today with James Talarico. Like James Talarico is the perfect example of what they are going to do when they seize power again. And this is why it's critical to expose these people. So you're frustrated with some war or foreign policy decisions. Me too. And I'm still processing all of it. I don't know all the information. And some of it doesn't seem right. Some of it seems fine. But again, I'm a 3-time Trump voter. I know that this is what I'm voting for. Literally what I'm voting for is the gut instinct here. Okay. What's the alternative exactly? So you don't like a foreign policy decision that we're engaging in like bombing runs, you know, in major military operation, you know, in the Mideast. Okay, fair. So you're going to vote for or vote by proxy by sitting out for the party that literally did the exact same thing in Ukraine and the Mideast, by the way. Like did the exact same thing in Gaza and Ukraine. Like the same thing. It's not exactly like a testament to these decisions. I think these decisions need still to be like played out. But that's how you're going to get back at like to voting for like the Ukraine people, like that, the Gaza war people, like that. That's how you're going to get back. Okay. But like then think about what else that brings with it. So then you're going to get the transing of the children. You're going to get the storming of the churches by the FBI and spying on Christians. You're going to get the open borders with that. You're going to get the naturalization of 30 million literal criminals that will come here, rig the election system for all time, make Puerto Rico and D.C. a state, so add 4 more guaranteed Democrat senators, making it impossible for Republicans to ever have control of that chamber, ever. The packing of the Supreme Court. And you're going to get people like Kamala Harris dictating how your children must be educated, your food supply, and your foreign policy. That's how you're going to get back at the system. Like that seems sadomasochistic. You're literally mutilating yourself. You're harming yourself. You're going to get back at them by punching yourself in the nuts. It seems incredibly stupid to me. It seems incredibly stupid. You don't have to agree with everything. Yeah, as you can obviously tell, I've been wrestling with this all the time. Like for a long time. But I continue to come back to the same result, which is, you know, the devil I know kind of thing, right? Which is like, I haven't and don't agree with 100% of everything Trump does. He's a human being. You don't agree with anything 100% that any other human being does. We're all fallen from grace, deserving of extreme and eternal punishment. God's forgiveness like floats us all, frankly. No one's perfect. But there are shades of bad. And all you have to do is look at James Talarico to find out what they have in store. My goodness. This guy who will be the next senator from Texas, he had like pretty good, they spent $30 million on this guy. He's a state representative. $30 million. Jasmine Crockett spent $6 million. He barely beat Jasmine Crockett. So he's kind of weak. But don't discount the propaganda machine, the election rigging machine, the amount of illegal votes in Texas, the fact that Texas has not taken the kind of steps that are absolutely required in order to clean as much of the voter rolls as possible and prevent illegal voting as possible. This is a scary time. And you can see the radicalism, the actual demonic, hedonistic, blasphemous radicalism of the left and what they intend on doing next. If we just are stupid enough, cucked enough, doomer enough, black-pilled enough to give them the chance. So I just want to encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, to not vote for the guy that thinks God is non-binary. We'll start with this.
God is both masculine and feminine and everything in between. God is non-binary.
Okay, so right away, lightning bolt from heaven. Lightning bolt from heaven. You ever read Genesis, bro? God maketh them man and woman. God made man in his own image. God madeth them two genders. Man was in the image of God. The pronouns that God uses in the Bible is the Almighty, capitalized, He, and Lord, along with Christ. No, God is not non-binary. Any child who has ever read the Bible knows this. My 2-year-old knows this. We were going through their little cute Bible books. This is not Christian doctrine. I mean, just like the beginnings of this, just like the core of this all is not Christian doctrine. Transgenderism is a lie. Transgenderism is from the pit of hell. Because it is the core basis of our DNA, the way we are knit together by our Creator, under attack from the pits of hell. And this guy is not only the emissary of this, he's someone who's attacking the core tenets of Christianity and Christendom by attacking Christ himself. Here we go.
They teach you in Sunday school that Jesus Christ himself was a radical feminist.
Jesus Christ is a radical feminist. Be extremely cautious, and I try and I do my best to stay very salty on this, of people that take Christ and his universal teachings and try and bend them, horseshoe them into modern day political iconography and talking points. Those people are wolves in sheep's clothing. Feminist, as is of course Jesus loves women, and he loved Mary Magdalene. He loved his own mother. He was very kind and performed miracles for women all throughout the Bible. He treated them well. But to say that Christ is a feminist in the modern sense would be to say that Christ would be for instance, transing of 5-year-olds and abortion. That is what feminist ideology is distilled down to in the modern sense. And he says so. He says so here, that this is actually about perverting the scriptures into the slaughter of children. Here we go.
But I say all this in context of abortion because before God comes over Mary and we have the incarnation, God asks for Mary's consent, which is remarkable. I mean, go back and read this in Luke. I mean, the angel comes down and asks Mary, if this is something she wants to do. And she says, if it is God's will, let it be done. Let it be. Let it happen. So to me, that is an affirmation in one of our most central stories that creation has to be done with consent. You cannot force someone to create. Creation is one of the most sacred acts that we engage in as human beings. But that has to be done with consent. It has to be done with freedom. And to me, that is absolutely consistent with the ministry and life and death of Jesus.
Okay, I banish you, demon, from my show. I banish thee. I will travel to Texas. I'm traveling to Texas this month. I will go to Texas. I'll do anything to stop this demon from perverting my faith. To say that the slaughter, the wholesale slaughter of God's creation in the womb, which has led to 80 million deaths. How great would this country be with 80 million more Americans? I would love to have 80 million more Americans. I don't want tens of millions of criminal aliens foreign to this land and to this culture to wash upon our shores. It's been destructive to the extreme. It's changed the nation forever. I don't know if we'll ever get it back. I'm fighting as hard as I can. But if you had 80 million more Americans, if the evil of abortion, the darkness of abortion was foisted upon us, we wouldn't, first off, be in these, be suffering this, but also, what is the core tenets of what he's saying here? He's talking about consent. As though, it would have been permissible for Mary to turn down God. You're talking, you are taking, he's taking a flaming sledgehammer to the pillars of Christendom, the basic pillars of Christendom. As though God is sitting there to be scolded by us men, that we are the ones who are in control, that man made God, not the other way around. That Mary could have scolded God and said, I will not bear the Christ. Same thing with John the Baptist. Same thing with so many different stories, apostles, all the way through the Old Testament and back. That God's will doesn't matter, and that it's us who are in control of God. This is satanic. This is from the pits of hell. Satan was an archangel, very powerful, cast down Beelzebub into hell because he tried to fight God, because he wanted to be God. Adam cast out of the garden because he wanted to be God, because Adam did not consent to God's laws. That is where the downfall of man comes from. This is a perverse, absolute blackness, a black Sabbath on Christianity. I cannot express it enough. But then to also pervert the teachings, the consistency in the teachings and the clarity of Christ on the innocent children, to sit and to say that we must slaughter kids if they are inconvenient to us, when Christ himself says those who harm the hairs on these children, they'll be cast to the bottom of the ocean with a stone, and that will be much better for you to have a giant boulder strapped to your skull and to be thrown to the depths of the sea and be eaten by the sharks and the creatures of the sea. So that's a lot better for you than what's actually going to happen to you. It is the polar negative black Sabbath of what the gospel is intended to be. This is truly anti-Christ teaching. It's anti-Christian. It is anti-Christ. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, saying that trans men, need abortions.
Before we go further, I want to acknowledge that our trans community needs abortion care too. Defending trans Texans is something we have to do every day.
Our trans men need abortions too. Again, the fact that he's standing up on a church dais saying these things, kind of makes you wonder, right? How can you get away with that without spontaneous spiritual combustion? He says that we need to abolish ICE, abolish all prisons, and that there are 6 biological sexes. Here we go.
I want us all to be aware of is that modern science obviously recognizes that there are many more than 2 biological sexes. In fact, there are 6, which honestly, Representative Hefner surprised me too. Surprised me too, because I am not
6
well
biological
versed in
sexes.
This issue area. I'm not a scientist. I'm a politician. A lot worse than a scientist.
So if there are 6 biological sexes, which one are you? You got to ask these questions. I'm going to go to Texas. I'm going to ask them. Which sex are you? Which one? Where does this all come from? This all comes from self-loathing. He hates himself. He views whiteness as a disease. He said so. He views whiteness as a virus, which is crazy. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. James Talarico. White skin gives me and every American immunity from the virus. We spread it wherever we go. Through our words, actions, our systems, we don't have to be showing symptoms. White hood or a Confederate flag to be contagious. We're contagious. Our whiteness is contagious. We are a virus. White people are a virus. This kind of stuff is always rooted in self-loathing. It's what the evil one always wants us to hate ourselves, hate the way that God made us. That's where transgenderism comes from. It is an assault on God. It's an assault on whom and how the Creator stitched you together. And let's talk about consent. You didn't get any consent in that, frankly. It is God's design. As somebody who has been through the birth of my own children, God's design is outside of my control. I've been through birth and loss of my own children. It is outside of my control. There is no consent. It is a miracle. It is a gift from God. And for me to sit there and argue with it, or to hate it, or to teach my children to hate the way they were made, is the basest evil that any man can wrought upon a child. To tell them that they weren't in the right body. You don't have the right skin color. Your skin color is a virus. It's sickness from the pit of hell. Ladies and gentlemen, we have waiting on our program to respond to all of this, Brandon Herrera. And before we jump over to Brandon Herrera, who had an incredible election night, he's headed to a runoff against despicable scumbag Tony Gonzalez. I want to play something because Brandon Herrera has the biggest border district in the country. He has some nearly 1,000 miles of border in his district. And Talarico says he wants that border to be a welcome mat to criminal aliens. So I thought that Brandon Herrera would have an interesting response to that. Here's Talarico.
Our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front.
Okay, Brandon Herrera joining us live to respond. Let's go. Brandon, congratulations. Welcome back to the program. You did a great job on election night. You won the total overall vote. What does the strategy look like going into the runoff?
Well, I appreciate it, brother. It was a big night. For the first time in Tony Gonzalez's political career, he lost an election. He failed to win. Not just did he fail to win the nomination without a runoff, but he also came in second place, which again has never happened in his political career. So I greatly appreciate all the support from you, from the people of Texas, from the voters, and we did it without taking any big special interest money. So I'm pretty proud of that. I am actually a little upset at you though for making me sit backstage and have to listen to James Talarico.
I'm sorry about that.
I don't think anybody should be subjected to that. That's I always forget. Every time it's been a while since I've listened to him talk, I forget how good he is at sounding like he knows what he's talking about.
What is he exactly? You know, like this guy seemed to have come from nowhere, but if you've been paying attention, obviously he's been the spokesperson for some of the dumber gambits. They've been grooming this guy for a very long time. He has a very creepy energy. He has like kind of a, megachurch pastor, but the guy right before he gets arrested energy to him. He just kind of seems like, if Blue Sky became a person and you actually look through what his ideology is, it's truly more radical than Ilhan Omar and AOC.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just, I guess it's the frustrating part for me is how confidently wrong he is, especially when he brings up any matters of Christianity or anything. Like, he's just very, very confident in preaching something that is objectively unbiblical.
So, I mean, you're not running against him, but I'm using this effectively as a straw man to show everyone, like, this is what the Democrat Party is going to bring to the country. This is what they want. This is the model. That the trans men need abortions. I'm ashamed of myself. I'm ashamed of my skin color. My skin color is a disease. We didn't even get to the 15 other anti-white tweets that he has about how much he just hates himself and hates the way that God made him. And I think that's, quite frankly, the core of it all. The core of modern day leftism is self-loathing. And then that expands into loathing of your neighbors and then your country, right?
Yeah, and it's crazy that the choices on the Democrat side of things on Tuesday was between him and Jasmine Crockett. That was the best that Texas could come up with on the Democrat side. But I guess it just means that Talarico is going to be going up against the winner of the runoff in the Senate race, which is either John Cornyn, another just horrific anti-gun, anti-border rhino, and then Ken Paxton.
So, okay, I guess I want to ask from a Texan perspective, what is this exactly? What is happening in Texas? It does seem like a major warning sign that somebody this radical and somebody this extremely progressive and left wing can seize this nomination and then can do so with a lot of votes. I mean, right, with some actual enthusiasm behind him.
Yeah. And it's a major warning sign, and it's because a lot of the Democrats are focusing all of their guns at Texas. They're looking at Texas because where Texas goes, so goes the nation, and they know that if they take Texas, we will never have a Republican president ever again, and that's their goal. I mean, it's like if the Republicans took California, but they've been trying. Austin's been growing. They've been bringing Californians out to Texas to try to make it blue, and I think. On the other side of things, though, there's that's the black pill. The white pill is, I think, that this is a very big anti-incumbent primary. And I think there's a loud voice against bad incumbents. Dan Crenshaw lost his race. John Cornyn's being pushed to a runoff that he will very likely lose. Tony Gonzalez is going to get smoked in the runoff against me. We're firing a lot of the worst incumbents we had. And I think Texas is doing some housekeeping.
Yeah, so Talarico says he wants to welcome Matt on the border, and you have the district that has you are running for the district that is the longest border with Mexico. Your response to him?
Well, it was a welcome Matt for the entirety of the Biden administration, and we saw the catastrophic effects, not just for the country, but especially for my district. Everybody in West Texas has a story about how illegal immigration, whether it was somebody cutting through their property, somebody getting, assaulted or just feeling unsafe, break-ins to their houses, or people that are, smuggling people across the border that are looking for water or food or anything else. Everybody had a story out here. Like I said, Brackettville is out in Kinney County. It's a very small rural community, and they were the high-speed chase capital of the entire country. They didn't have the resources to deal with that. And that's because we had a wide open welcome mat of a southern border. We didn't enforce our border laws, and the district suffered greatly for it, to the degree that several blue counties in the district went red for Trump in 2024 because they knew that this was unsustainable. We needed action.
So how are you intending on winning this runoff?
Well, we've got the grassroots support. I'm very, very thankful that we've got a good team on the ground. We've done better than we've ever done before. I mean, in the first primary that I took Tony to a runoff, I believe I got 24% of the vote this time. So we almost beat expectations by or our prior race by about 20 points. So that being said, that last runoff we lost by 407 votes roughly. That is a pretty tight margin, considering we're doing 20 points ahead of where we were last time. And I think we'll have the support of the other two challengers as well. You had former Congressman Kiko Conseco. You had Keith Barton. Both people I had a pretty good relationship with during the campaign. And at the end of the day, I think that they're tired of Tony too. And I think that's why they ran. And so to consolidate their support and start to heal the Republican Party so we can move on to fighting the Democrats in November, that's going to be the big fight.
All right. Healing the Republican Party. There were a lot of people cheering that Dan Crenshaw lost his seat. And I just want to get your take on that. Obviously, I think this is something that made probably the most news out of yesterday's results.
Sure. I'm blown away, frankly. That was the upset of the night. I knew Dan was going to have a tight challenge in that race and potentially going into a runoff. Wasn't really sure. But it was decisive. It was a decisive victory from Steve Toth. And I guess that really just shows the amount of frustration there is in his district. And like I said, I think there's a frustration across Texas in general with incumbents and specifically with bad incumbents. And that energy is palpable. And we saw that in the results.
Yes. What is the message to your district? What is going to be the winning message to your district in this runoff? The runoff will be in May. Do I have that wrong?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So the runoff will be in May. What is your walkaway message to the voters of Texas 18?
Well, we need to, or Texas 23, but 23. We need to consolidate the party. We need to start focusing and codifying President Trump's executive orders on the border so it does not ever go back to the way that it was. We need to work on cost of living. We need to work on our debt situation. We need to work on take care of our veterans. We have so many issues that are specific to District 23 that affect the rest of the nation as well. And so it's time we start bringing everybody together to start getting this job done. You know, we have somebody right now in office that's put a pretty big stain on the office for this district. And I think it's time we start moving forward and, again, focus on taking the fight to the Democrats in November.
And if you're asked how many genders there are, what will your answer be, Brandon?
Let me carry the one. I believe it's 2. I believe that's what I was taught in biology anyway.
We all know there's 6 genders. Oh, this dude is the Senate candidate in Texas.
Well, what's crazy is he's probably going to be under a lot of fire from the people that think there are infinite genders. He's not radical enough for them.
That's right. Dude, I mean, the stuff about the Christian faith though is what really gets me. Man, it makes my blood boil. It's anti-Christian. Yes, it's very anti-Christian. Actually,
he makes a very compelling point that the Bible can be consistent with leftist values if you completely ignore everything that's in it.
Right. Yes, if you just don't read the Bible, or you read it backwards and believe the inverse of what it says, then you can be a leftist Christian. That's right.
Too easy.
Oh yeah, too easy. Okay, we cracked the code. Wow. All right. Thank you, Brandon. Godspeed. Please come back, and I'll be in Texas. I hope that we can go campaign together. I'd love to go to the district, man.
We would be honored to have you.
It's like a rowdy district. Looks like a good district with some good barbecue. A district with some good Americans in it. And it's like, I love the map.
Yeah, I'll show you some of the good spots around town. But no, we'd love to have you out at a rally or something like that. I think we're gonna be bigger and better than ever before this time around.
My man. Brandon Herrera, he's got the backing of all of the energy online, all of the people who have locked in for the America First movement. He's got 700,000 subscribers here on social media. You must be one of them. Fight with the people who are fighting for you. Godspeed, Brandon.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Toth is fresh off of his victory against Dan Crenshaw in the Texas primary that shocked the nation and proved that the Republican America First primary voters still have all the power. And he joins us live right now. Steve, it's an absolute honor to have you on the program.
Good to be with you.
How's the last 24 hours been?
It's really been a whirlwind. I mean, we're excited. We did polling back in June, and it adequately described exactly what we're going to find. And it's funny, but no one would believe me when I would tell them this guy's underwater. He can't win, and just no one would believe us. We were shocked.
So you were shocked on election night. I saw the video. It was great, man. It was
it's just, Ted Cruz once said, run scared or run unopposed, right? And so even though we had all this great linear regression modeling, poll after poll that was showing that Dan can't win. And I would tell supporters and I would tell people that wanted to contribute to the campaign, Dan can't win. But I couldn't absorb it into my own heart and mind that Dan can't win, right? It's like, it's this duality of what it is to run a hard race, because you don't want to, for a second, take anything for granted. You want to leave everything on the field and work as hard as you can.
Let's talk quickly about the field, because there are a lot of people that sit there armchair and say, here's why Dan lost. Here's why Dan Crenshaw lost. And it has been a remarkable fall from grace, because in 2018, when Dan won, he had the story, you had all this kind of sort of young viral energy, and people were saying this guy could potentially run for president. Now he's losing a primary 6 years later. Why did that happen, Steve?
It was a fall from grace. This is a guy, one of the things that secrets of life is being extremely grateful for everything that you have. And as a follower of Christ, if you understand that you're deeply loved, deeply cared for, and that you have a provider that provides everything for you, the good times and the bad times, the hard things and the easy things. Dan really has a charmed life. He has a beautiful wife. He has a beautiful child. He's a member of Congress. He was talked about as being the next vice presidential pick. He was talked about one day being groomed for the presidency, as you just said. And yet, for some reason, that wasn't enough for him. And he was just a miserable man. One of my supporters said that once supported Dan that through a fundraiser for him at his beautiful home in Carlton Woods, said, Dan's just really unhappy. He's an unhappy person. He's a miserable person. And maybe he just needs to come home and get centered again. I mean, he's a really talented guy. There's just no doubt about it. He's not stupid. He's smart. He's gifted. He can be a very effective communicator. He's got a great story, a great patriot story. But I think there's something to just getting grounded again and being grateful for all the things that you have and not being miserable, because he's miserable with everybody he comes in contact with.
It's funny. I lived in DC for 15 years, man. And if you come to DC as like a spring chicken or as someone who's naive, you'll get your life destroyed. Yeah. If you come to DC and you already have demons, whether that's because you went to war and got hurt, or whether it's because of something else personal in your life, then it will exacerbate your demons. DC is a reality distortion field that is designed to destroy people. And every vice is set directly before you. It's all free. It's terrible. And I think that's like, if somebody were to ask me, what do you truly think, like with a polygraph on, happened with Crenshaw, I would say that, honestly. Right? Coming to DC with pre-existing demons, and they just accelerate,
It sounds a lot like Austin, honestly. I mean, it really is. We're the 8th largest economy in the world. It's not, if you're in the legislature, whether you're in the House or the Senate, it's not like serving in Louisiana. It's not like serving in Delaware. No offense to Louisiana and Delaware, but this is the 8th, if not 7th largest economy in the world. And it's just filled with bottom dwellers that are just trying to suck the life out of you. It's a very transactional place, just like DC is. And they want you to sell your soul to them so that you can have a little bit more of that which is temporal and is passing away.
Yes. So that's such a great point. And you talked about your Christian faith, and we're very excited, honestly, to see you run this race all the way through. It's going to be awesome to see you in Washington, D.C., have you as an ally and friend to keep us updated as to what's going on there, because you are somebody who actually has been seasoned and matured enough in your beliefs that, and you've done this, right, in the Texas state legislature. So you have sort of the battle scars of that. And it's always like valuable to see that, right? It's always valuable to have that background, because you can't be plied as easily when you get to Washington, where the G-forces for corruption are just so much more extreme.
I mean, it's the refining fire. It really is truly that's one of the things I'm so grateful for. Not the battle scars of Austin, but the battle scars of having to continue to try and hold my seat, because they come after me every single election cycle. The Republicans come after me every single election cycle, trying to take me out.
Steve, you've served with someone who's gone quite viral here. I think people will forget about Dan Crenshaw pretty quickly, but James Talarico is somebody who is my entire timeline right now. I've never seen. I mean, like he's too left wing for the women of the View. Like he wouldn't get a spot on the View couch. I think that he's more radical than Ilhan Omar.
He is.
AOC. Yeah.
He is. So I've served with James since 2019 when he came into the House. And it's funny because he went from this caustic, nasty, angry, pissed off young man to, in one session, I'm going to be all Christian. I'm going to be all Presbyterian pastor. And I mean, literally that caustic. And I mean, you are going to see some back mic video of this guy in his most ugly, nasty, caustic moments, shilling for the most woke, evil, cut the penises off of little boys, cut the breasts off of little girls, allow biological males into our daughters' restrooms and showers, to the most disgusting things of critical race theory, you name it. I mean, this guy is as far to the left as you can possibly go.
When you listen to the speeches he's given, they're not just a progressive take on Christianity, they're anti-Christianity.
Yeah.
To say that God is non-binary, well, that's antithetical to God, and that's antithetical to the first chapter of Genesis and the nature of God. To say that Christ would be for abortion on demand or transgenderism, and that God needs our consent. There's this like whole thing he does to say that God's down with abortion because he needs our consent to be God. I mean, it's not just like progressive woke Christianity. Like we're just going to pick and choose what verses we read, right? Because we don't like we don't like these verses. It's anti-Christianity, right? Like it's a Black Sabbath. It's anti-Christian.
It is the most perversion. He is the greatest perversion of the Gospels and the Word of God that I have ever seen. So, like as an example, he'll take Genesis where God talks about breathing life into man, right? And he'll say, so life begins at when you're born, not at conception, even though the Gospels make it really clear, the Word of God makes it really clear. I knit you together in your mother's womb. It talks about John the Baptist leaping inside his mother's womb when he was near Jesus, when Jesus was in Mary's womb. I mean, he is the most ridiculous perversion of the gospel. It's heresy. It's demonic.
Yep. Now that's fascinating, your experience with him. And you just said in your last answer that you saw he perhaps made like some type of political calculation and did like a Book of Mormon, like Joseph A. Banks, like Boy Scout makeover to become some type of like pantomime of a woke Christian. You actually watched that happen. Can you describe that? What is that?
So there is a darkness inside of him. And I'm not one of these guys that is a pastor, as a Christian. I'm not looking for, I'm not one of these guys that believes that there's a demon under every rock. But yeah, there are some demons under some rocks. All right.
Yes.
I'm not one that says that every, Democrat's demon. In fact, I've met some really wonderful Democrats in the Texas House that have helped us, push good legislation. But this guy is one of the most evil people I've ever met. I mean, hands down, ever met. And now all of a sudden he's Mr. Boy Scout, Presbyterian pastor. It is a remarkable makeover. And unfortunately, I think he's fooling a lot of people.
Wow. How do you think it's going to go? I mean, I want to talk about your race here in conclusion, but like,
we're going to clean it. We're going to educate people about who the real James Talarico is.
Yeah.
My staff right now is working on uncovering back mic and front mic exchanges that we've had with him. in 2019, 21 and 23 before the great makeover. We're going to expose James Talarico for who he really truly is. We're going to show Texas who this guy truly is. He is one of the most dangerous people that has ever stepped foot. And I think the Democrats see him as the great white hope.
Yeah, dude, but he hates white. But he hates. Steve, he hates white people. I mean, that's like that's what's so crazy about this. Yeah. First off, why can't libs find like just a normal white dude? You know, there's like a lot of normal white dudes. I'm a normal white dude. I find it remarkable, right, that every single guy that they find has to be Pete Buttigieg, Gavin Newsom, or Tim Walz, right? It has to be like this freaky pantomime, like a deeply, deeply disturbed, dark, kind of like nasty, passive-aggressive, strange, cucked like version of like just a normal dude. And they keep trying to pass these guys off. James Talarico is just the next version of like a Tim Walz, is the way that I see it, as as like just completely fake and the very, very like creepy actually when you get down to it. But like I find that hilarious, and then I go through his tweets and I realize, oh my goodness, like you really actually do hate yourself, and that's where all this comes from, is self-loathing. You hate white people. He called white people a virus and a disease. He says his whiteness is a contagious virus. What does that mean exactly?
He's a really, it's funny because I carried the legislation in 2021 that banned critical race theory in public schools in the state of Texas, and he was the biggest opponent that I had. So a lot of the stuff that came out of the book by I can't think of his name, but it was how to become anti-racist, right?
Yeah, Kendi,
Ibram Kendi, right?
Yep.
He is a big disciple of Ibram Kendi and all of the early purveyors of critical race theory. And to understand critical race theory is to understand that the heart of that is critical theory, right? It's Marxism. It's Marxism. Class warfare did not work to bring Marxism to the United States because we have this thing called the middle class, right? And so it became, well, what can we do to create racial division in the United States? And this is a guy that adopted it from a very early age and has bought into it hook, line, and sinker. And I think he truly loathes himself. I think he loathes the color of his skin. I think he loathes his sexuality. I think he loathes his gender. He loathes everything about himself. I mean, his mind has got to be one really crowded, crippled mess.
Isn't that it's funny how everything that's old is new again, right? Everything that's old is new again. It's like just the same problems humans have had since the dawn of creation. Just the same problem that like Satan has, right, with God. It's like I'm going to be God, and I hate the way you made me, and it's like I'm going to disobey you. It's like it's all the same thing, but it really is based on like the hatred for the way that God makes you, and that's where it all comes from. It all stems from that. The older I get, Steve, like the more I just sort of recognize that the most precious gift I could give my children is to tell them that they are perfect in God's eyes. He made them, and He created them. And God didn't put them in the wrong body or the wrong skin color, that God loves them. And He put them together like he made them exactly the way that they are for this reason. And that you should, that self-loathing is actually the pathway to total and complete destruction. And in the worst possible way, right? Because you end up destroying yourself.
I mean, it's what we started this discussion with at the beginning, which is be grateful. Yes. It's like one of the greatest attributes. And it goes from an attribute into this incredible blessing in your life, because once you learn to become grateful for what God has given you, Scripture says without faith, it's impossible to please God. If you're not thankful for what He's given you and what He's done for you, then you're not going to realize His blessings in your life. Emotionally, just feeling good about yourself, feeling good about the world, feeling good about your fellow man, feeling good about your station in life. It's just, it's the secret to happiness.
It's not and the least practiced virtue is gratefulness. Yeah, like we live in such a society that actually looks at it as a weakness to just be thankful for the breath in your lungs and a sunset and a sunrise and like going on a walk. Like it's too bad. We've gotten ourselves all in a damn hurry, and people should chill out. We're very, very glad that you've chilled out, Dan Crenshaw. We're very sad that you're going to Washington, D.C. We'll be checking in all the time, Steve. You'll always have an opportunity to come on our program and to bang on and to tell us all about what's going on in the seventh circle of hell in D.C. when you get there.
You're on, man.
Yeah. Any last comments to your primary voters and the voters who now have will be, I think you have a pretty solid, right? Just check the numbers. It looks like you have a pretty solid path to being the next congressman here from the Houston area. We do, but we're going to work really hard for it. And, as Republicans, this is the primary. This is where the fight is. And the reality is that now we've got to bring our party back together. If Texas is going to win in November, we've got to all come together. I don't care if you did or didn't vote for me. I'm going to work hard for you. That's my MO. That's what I've always done in the Texas House. I'm going to work hard to earn your trust and your confidence. Our advice when you get to DC is become best friends with Tim Burchett. That's it. That's what we tell every single. Love Tim. we were booking Tim like long before he would ever even be welcomed, like in the shadow of the CNN studio. I'm gonna steal Tim's coat. All right. But I'm not gonna copy it. We'll be in Texas at the end of the month. We'll hope to meet you, Steve. We'll be at CPAC. So, Godspeed, man. Thank you, and everybody obviously follow Steve Toth here. He's got 40,000 subscribers on X. I have a feeling that number is going to go up quickly. Thank you, sir. God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be bringing you Ken Paxton, who is now forcing a runoff in the Texas Senate race. Ken Paxton's take on James Talarico, probably the most important, frankly, because he's going to be running against him. James Talarico has seized the nomination over Jasmine Crockett. It's wild that Jasmine is like, was she the more moderate? At least she was entertaining. She was funny. Like I thought Jasmine Crockett was hilarious, actually. We loved making fun of her. Yeah, we once had Terrence Williams on the show in a skit where he was playing Jasmine Crockett. It was hilarious. And so, I don't know, man. Like, James Talarico, he scares the hell out of me. Like Jasmine Crockett, obviously, I'm not arguing necessarily. Yeah, I mean, maybe she was the moderate choice. I mean, goodness gracious. Ladies and gentlemen. What a time to be alive. You got to chill out and relax, looking at the landscape right now and what's happening around the world. The Bond Charge red light face mask is a wonderful way to do that. Bond Charge is a holistic wellness brand with a huge range of evidence-based products to optimize your life. I've been noticing, right? Wrong side of 30, you get a little wrinkles. You also need to chill out at the end of the night to go and sleep nicely. Well, Bond Charge helps me with that. I don't got the room for a sauna. Most people don't. Saunas also can be prohibitively expensive. Bond Charge red light face mask is easy to use, takes up like zero space, and for just 10 to 20 minutes a day, use it while cooking, meal, or putting your kids to bed. It's going to boost collagen, and it's going to make you feel euphoric at the end of it, and a nice, beautiful night's sleep for me. Go to bondcharge.com/Benny and use the coupon code Benny to save 15%. That's BONCHARGE.com/Benny and use the coupon code Benny to save 15% on Bond Charge. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, again, Ken Paxton will be entering the chat soon. He is having a couple of issues, and so we're working on that. Our producers are helping the Attorney General of Texas to hop on the show. So we hope you can join. Guys, I don't have any suggestions. They're as good at this as anyone, ALX and Danny. So we're going to wait and see. We're going to wait and see. We have plenty more, by the way, from James Talarico. We have like, it looks like ALX has put together thousands of clips. Let's just hit a couple more here, okay? A couple of more. How about this? Abolish ICE. James Talarico wants to abolish ICE and then impeach all of the ICE agents. Okay, good. Here we go.
It is time to tear down this secret police force and replace it with an agency that is actually going to promote public safety. We must impeach Secretary Kristi Noem. We must prosecute agents who have abused their power. And we must haul these masked men before Congress so the world can see their faces.
Oh, cool. Okay. Let me ask you a little question here. If you were to prosecute the ICE agents, where would you put them? Let's say you prosecuted one. Would you put them in, let's see, a prison? Well, you see, here's the problem with having this level of pathological. It is psychotic in the extreme to hold two competing ideas together in your mind and visit both of them as true. It is actually the sun is hot, the sun is cold. That doesn't make any sense to a normal person, but if you're a schizophrenic, if you're a sociopath, it does. And this is the sign of it. Let's prosecute all the Republicans and throw them where exactly? Well, James Talarico is against prisons. So prosecute them and then do what exactly? Here we go. James Talarico on prisons.
Is violence. Pollution is violence. And yes, prison is violence. Dismantle this system of violence, build something new, something better, something rooted in love. It's hard to imagine a world without prisons, but it was also hard to imagine a world without telegrams and cassette tapes. Just because it's hard to imagine doesn't mean you shouldn't.
Just to imagine a world without prisons. Imagine a world without prisons, and then imagine that we lock up all the Republicans. It's great. These people have lost their damn minds. And by the way, he thinks that undocumented criminal aliens should replace you. He says it, by the way, right here.
Do you know any undocumented immigrants?
No, I do not.
When I was a teacher on the west side of San Antonio, I taught a lot of students who were undocumented. And I don't want to stereotype, but those students tended to be the most patriotic, the hardest working students that I had in the classroom.
Okay, got it. They're more patriotic. The undocumented, the criminal kids, they're like, some kids do come over. Some parents literally just throw their kids over the border. But the undocumented kids mean that they were dragged here with their parents. Their parents are criminal aliens. They broke our laws coming here. And he's sitting there saying, oh, well, the Texas taxpayer should just educate them on our dime. And they should be living in a home that should be, they're occupying a home, a job. They're not paying taxes. A home that by outright belonged to an American. And shut up. They're better than you. Joe Biden said the same line. Joe Biden has the exact same line. Our producers are quite busy right now. It looks like we're going to have John Cornyn on the phone. Is that correct? I'm letting everybody, I'm sorry, not John Cornyn, correction, Ken Paxton, running against John Cornyn on the phone. Team, just let me know. Yeah, thank you. Ken Paxton will be joining via phone. Yeah, we're getting our guest set. Well, I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we had a technical difficulty. Ken Paxton will be on the phone with us to talk about comments like this from James Talarico. Again, this is the man who may well run against James Talarico. Atheists are more Christ-like than Christians. Okay.
And that applies to Muslims and Hindus. And
listen, I have.
This is, they can learn a lot from Jesus.
I have met so many Hindus, Buddhists, Sikh,
Jews, Muslims, atheists, agnostics, who are more Christ-like than some of the Christians I serve with in the Texas legislature.
These atheists are more Christ-like. Well, what exactly is Christ-like to a guy like James Talarico? Well, Christ isn't real to James Talarico. You know this because the practice of Christianity, the actual basement structural beam that holds the entire faith up, is that Christ is the Son of God, the way, the truth, and the life. And nobody comes to the Father except through me, the Savior. All salvation, the conquest of death itself, flows through the blood of Christ. Christendom, the kingdom of Christ, is built, of course, upon this truth. So no Christian, I mean, that is the fundamental truth, that God's Son came to this earth to die for us, to be the eternal Savior. That is Christendom distilled completely. That's it, the core of it, center. If you can't say that, and you can't affirm that, and it's not up to me, the judgment of souls, you'd be very wary for people that try and do this. But if you can't say that, then prima facie, you're not a Christian. Because just based on the reality of what the faith is, you're just not a Christian. And James Talarico doesn't say that when asked. Here we go.
How do you think about the competing claims of different religions? Do you believe Christianity to be more true than other religions? Do you believe there to be exclusivity in these beliefs, that they're incompatible with each other?
I believe Christianity points to the truth. I also think other religions of love point to the same truth. I think of different religious traditions as different languages. So you and I could sit here and debate what to call this cup, and you could call it a cup in English, you'd call it something else in Spanish and French, but we are all talking about the same reality. I believe Jesus Christ reveals that reality to us. But I also think that other traditions reveal that reality in their own ways with their own symbol structures. And I've learned more about my tradition by learning more about Buddhism and Hinduism and Islam and Judaism. And so I see these beautiful faith traditions as circling the same truth about the universe, about the cosmos. And that truth is inherently a mystery.
Spoken like a demon. Thank you, Klein. Spoken like a demon. What is the nature of Satan exactly? Well, we know that Satan was cast down, that he was a very powerful angel, cast down because he wanted to be God. He refused to accept God's way and order. Okay. What is the how else is he described? Well, he prowls around like a roaring lion, looking to steal, kill, and destroy. That's the nature of Satan. And in this answer, what is clearly platformed by James Talarico is the desire to steal, kill, and destroy. Christians. Christians. This is an attack on Christendom. Ethan Klein asks, what is a totally fine question? Is Christ supreme? Is what he asks. Is Christ the Lord? And James Talarico gives this mumbling soup that says actually all religions are the Lord. All religions point to the same truth, which is a total mystery, and none of us know what the answer is. Nope. Every Christian knows what the answer is. Christ is king. I tweet it every morning. Christ is king. I say it every morning in order to center myself because that is the only truth. That's it. That's all you have. It's a very simple answer, honestly. Just like how many genders there are. Is the sun hot? These are simple answers. But you don't get the simple answer. You get a mealy-mouthed, slithering word salad from the snake. God doesn't want you to eat from the tree because it'll make you wise. That's why he doesn't want you. Yeah, it's always the same stuff. So no, like if you can't affirm the basic tenet of Christianity, the only thing that makes Christians different from every other religion, then I would argue you're not a Christian. Be happy to make that argument. So come at me, bro. Dude. Oh man. This is just an absolute mess. Checking in with my team here to see if Ken Paxton is rocking and rolling. We always hate it when we have technical difficulties. It is what happens. We have a live show. We never do pre-records. We have a live show, and it looks like we are ready to go. Okay, fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. Ken Paxton, ready to rock and roll. Please, welcome the Attorney General of the state of Texas, Ken Paxton, to the show. I just want to put up, hey, Ken, and welcome back to the program. I know you joined us a week ago for the State of the Union. It was awesome to see you, man.
That's great to see you, too. It was really great to see you.
I want to put up one tweet from your potential opponent, James Talarico here. It's a photo of a Dr. Fauci doll, and he's thrilled to be getting this for Christmas. And he's going to play with his Dr. Fauci action figure. And if you are, in fact, standing across on a stage from James Talarico in a debate, perhaps you could ask him where's your Dr. Fauci action figure?
Wow. All I have to say is wow. That's very shocking. Given what Dr. Fauci did to our population, it's pretty shocking that he would be happy to have that as an action figure.
To venerate Dr. Fauci is all you need to know, but we've spent the entire show, Mr. Attorney General, going through some of the most disturbing things about James Talarico, which it's amazing to see the Dr. Fauci action figure is actually one of the more moderate stances. James Talarico has some pretty disturbing beliefs. He doesn't know what gender he is. He believes there are 6 genders. He believes that God is non-binary, that Jesus wants to trans the kids and wants abortion. How does that work when it comes? Like, how does that work in a state like Texas? What if Texas is that what Texans believe?
I know very few Texans that would agree with that. That's those are all pretty out there beliefs, and they don't match the core values of Texas. I already know that. I've been here since I was 18, and I certainly know Texans pretty well, given that I've been in office and been around this state for decades.
Okay, so it's going to be a while. You're headed to a runoff with John Cornyn. Congratulations, you did great in the election. I want to ask a couple more Talarico questions, but I guess the big question that a lot of people are wondering, Mr. Attorney General, is what will happen if President Trump endorses? He's asked for all the other candidates to drop out. Will you do that if President Trump endorses your opponent, John Cornyn?
Look, I think that this people of Texas deserve a choice. We've had John Cornyn in office for over 4 decades. I was in college, and I'm 63. He's been in office since I was in college. He's been representing us in the Senate, but he's not done it well. And when I've asked Texans, every stop, whether it's one person or 5,000 people, I've asked this question: can you name one good accomplishment of John Cornyn in the last, let's go back 40 plus years? And no one's ever given me an answer. Even his supporters cannot name one good accomplishment. We have many bad ones, including opposing President Trump on many of the issues like the border and amnesty and even his own election. So no, I'm going to give people in Texas a choice. The people in Washington can have their own opinion. The president can have his own opinion. But I've been in this race for almost a year, and we're going to win this race in the runoff.
Yes. So. Do you have any indication that President Trump might endorse you? I mean, do you think that have you been in communications with the president?
Well, I know that John Cornyn has suggested that Susie Wiles, as chief of staff, is behind this. I don't know what's true or not true. That we just had the election a day ago, and I'm out, pushing for my support because, my opponent just got done spending close to $100 million. and I spent $5 million, and I was within a point. So my goal is to step that up, because I really believe if I can get my message out about me and him, the truth, not his fake messages that he ran for the $100 million, but the truth, will make up that 1 point relatively easily, along with Wesley Hunt's votes moving my way.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So have you spoken with Wesley Hunt? He's obviously a friend of the show, as you are. Have you spoken with him? Do you think that Wesley Hunt will endorse you? Wesley Hunt, I think, got 14%. It's totally like respectable showing for him. He's a younger, obviously a younger candidate, a really bright future, whatever he decides to do. Have you spoken with him?
Yeah, I called him the night of the election. He and I had the same purpose, which was to defeat John Cornyn. I got in the race, April. He got in October. We had the same goal, and I didn't even know Wesley was going to run until he got in. So my goal was to defeat John Cornyn. His goal was to defeat John Cornyn. So I think we're on the same page there. It's certainly up to Wesley to make that decision. I asked him for his endorsement, and he's got to make that call.
What will be your message to Texans now moving forward to this May runoff?
Well, the main message is, look, we've had 40 plus years of this, 24 years in the Senate, where we have a guy that doesn't answer to us. He answers to Mitch McConnell. He answers to the Washington swamp. He doesn't represent us. He sided with Joe Biden to restrict the Second Amendment. He sided with Joe Biden to bring in Afghan refugees who we did not vet, that may not be friendly to us. He fought President Trump on the border wall, and you can see the clips. You can go out and look at him yourself. He has pushed amnesty his entire career, and he has been behind this massive budget increase. When he got there, it was 6.2 trillion. Now it's 38 trillion, and he has not been a friend of President Trump. No matter what anybody says, you can go back in 2016 and look, and he said that President Trump was an albatross around Republicans' necks. He said the same thing about me. In 2024, he said that he was not supporting Donald Trump because his time had passed. So this is a guy that does not represent the values of Texas. And why should we put up with this in Texas? We need somebody who represents us, who will take care of us, and who will represent us in Washington in a way that we like.
Yes. I mean, you make a fantastic case there. I'm no fan of John Cornyn at all. I couldn't believe how bitchy he was on social media. I mean, he attacked it. It was 2022, and we were just kind of reeling from this Joe Biden administration, and he and his staff were attacking us online, and I just couldn't believe it. I just wow, this guy does not have any tie-in with the base or the American First Movement. So I'm I encourage, and I'm there with you. I do think that the question, of course, lies to who is the best to defeat James Talarico. This guy is more radical than Ilhan Omar when you actually go through and look at his positions. Do you agree with that?
Oh, I absolutely agree. I haven't focused on him as much as I have winning this primary, but
yeah.
What has he accomplished? He's relatively young. He's running for a really big position. What has he shown us to deserve to be there? And all we know are these really radical positions, but he's not accomplished anything. He's not delivered for Texans yet. And so, I don't think he's worthy of being elected, whether he was a Republican or a Democrat. I'm not impressed.
Okay. So he says that there should be a welcome mat on the Texas border for all criminal aliens. This is one of the more wild claims. But since you spent so much time, Mr. Attorney General, on the border, and it's been a key issue for you, your response to that?
Well, I actually sued Joe Biden over that very issue. As shocking as it is, Joe Biden pushed to bring illegals here that had committed crimes, and we sued him over that direct issue. I think it's hard to fathom an administration or a candidate, especially from Texas, welcoming illegals generally, but I don't even know what to say when you say you want criminals here. How is that beneficial to my citizens? I don't know a single Democrat or Republican that wants criminals being allowed to come into our country. Makes no sense, because those criminals will affect all of us, doesn't matter what party we're in.
I mean, obviously, this is really clear to anybody who's seeing it, and it's been kind of scary. Maybe a parting thought here, Mr. Attorney General, on what the left's plans are for the state of Texas, because it does seem like as Texas goes, of course, the nation goes. If they're able to flip Texas purple or blue, then a Republican can't win really nationwide. That seems to be their aim. And Talarico seems to be somebody that they've been grooming for this for a long time. You would know it better than anyone. What are the plans and the schemes that the left has for the state of Texas?
Well, there's no doubt. If they want Texas, if they can take Texas, then they will change our election laws just like they have in California, just like they have in New York, so that all kinds of mail-in ballots get sent out. There's no photo ID. And it's really hard to ever get it back. Once they control it, that is their goal. And so they will stop at nothing. They will spend, literally hundreds of millions of dollars to try to win these races, because they know once they get control, they're going to seek to change the election apparatus, and then we're done. We will not have we will not have fair elections, and then we'll never be able to compete again on the national level, which means our country is controlled by one party. That is their ultimate goal. One party control of this nation. They are working their way methodically to get there. They've done it in California, they've done it in New York, they've done it in Illinois, they've done it in Connecticut, and they are trying to control the country with one party.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, it's pretty obvious. They make that play, and they literally tell you what they do. They used to be a little more subtle, Mr. Attorney General, but now they're pretty on the nose about what they plan on doing. So we got Beto 2.0. Maybe if you don't mind, just one more minute here, a takeaway on these tweets. This is the stuff that frankly blew my mind, and I just don't know how you go out to the Texas electorate and run when you hate white people so much. He clearly hates white people. James Talarico is saying that white men are a virus, that his whiteness is a virus that is contagious to other people. He goes on and says that white men are the biggest threat to the entire nation, that white men are the single biggest problem in all of America. And then he has these other mewling and bitching quotes about how much he hates his own white skin. What is your response to this?
My
Mr.
response
Attorney
is,
General?
if he believes that, why the hell is he running? I mean, I don't even understand why he's qualified to run. He just qualified himself. I couldn't disagree with him more. I don't think skin color should be a measure of character. Martin Luther King would have disagreed with him greatly, and any of our great leaders would have disagreed, no matter what their skin color. It's not based on skin color or hair color or eye color. It's based on character. It's based on how you treat people. It's based on your belief system and how you implement that. I could not disagree with him more.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It should be disqualifying. It is exactly what you see in, I don't know, the kind of language you see in South Africa right before things go horribly, horribly wrong. Okay, well, thank you for your clarity on all of this. Mr. Attorney General, you've always been a friend to our show. We obviously endorse you completely. We're excited and encouraging of your race, and we look forward to helping you, ladies and gentlemen. Please follow the Attorney General here. You know him well, been on the program a lot. He's got 500,000 subscribers here on X. Fight with the people who are fighting for us. Godspeed.
Hey,
Okay.
thank you.
Gentlemen, our partners at American Financing are helping Americans get out of debt and get out of debt fast. That high interest credit card debt is a real future killer, man. This is how they keep you in slavery. You heard of debt slavery? This is debt slavery. Get out today. An absolute no obligation call to American Financing can help you right now. The average savings are $800 a month, give you breathing room, and can also set you on the path for prosperity. America's home for home financing loans at 888-528-1219. That's 888-528-1219 for AmericanFinancing.net/Betty. Remember, Donald Trump said that these credit card rates of the 20 and 30%, that they are illegal. He views them as illegal, usury rates, and they should be knocked down. Here's a way to start, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. We have the great Nancy Mace on the program, locked and ready to go. Yes? Yeah, fantastic. She's been making a lot of news. Bowling a China shop, I guess, right? And I say that as lovingly as possible. And here we go. Nancy Mace. many different metaphors. Bull in a china shop. I don't mean to call you a bull, but like that's what you've been doing with the Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton testimony. It's been incredible. Now this sexual assault vote has been humiliating, frankly, for Congress. You're just on a war path, Congresswoman.
You're on a war path, Benny, and nothing is going to stop me. And in fact, on that shameful vote on the floor, and thank you to Lauren Boebert, Tim Burchett, and Anna Paulina Luna for having my back on that. But both Republican and Democrat leadership whipped the vote against disclosure of sexual harassment files by members of Congress. So the two-tiered system of justice, the rich and powerful and politically connected, there's a tier for them, which is skate away, just like Epstein. And then, there's a justice system for everybody else. You would never be able to get away with that in the private sector or in the rest of America or in middle America. You'd be fired. You'd be excommunicated. You'd be, shamed out of your community, your church, whatever. But in Congress, just sweep everything under the rug, hide it. And I don't want to hear a word from any of those members of Congress, right or left, that voted to hide sexual harassment files. I don't want to hear Jeffrey Epstein's name come out of their mouth. They don't get a say anymore.
Such a great point. I wish you'd forced this vote earlier in the last summer, frankly, to just prove what frauds all these people are. Can you talk me through this and our audience through this? As I understand it, there is a special slush fund in Congress that is funded, of course, by the taxpayers, not by the members of Congress, right? That pays out, I don't know, at least millions of dollars for sexual harassment claims to get people to go away. It's all done under the table. No, the public never hears about it. And a lot of these claims are very legitimate. I think we have members of Congress die every once in a while. And then you find out these grotesque stories about them. Who was it? Who was the member of Congress that just died? And he was he was wandering around with his pants off, in his office.
Who was that?
Yeah, no, I jogged my memory, but yeah, we're finding that you find it out when they die.
Yeah,
but they're this is a sick system.
Yeah, I found out one a couple years ago wanted to impregnate his female employees, not by injection or something, right, or IVF, but literally wanted to have sex with his staff and impregnate them. And we voted to hide those files. What are you even talking about, right? And so it's actually two parts. So the first part is exposing the claims of sexual harassment by members of Congress. Was step one through the ethics committee, and it just got hidden yesterday, that vote. I did a separate vote or a subpoena for information on the slush funds on the oversight committee, because that was the only way to really get at it. And we did that yesterday. A lot of members, mostly Republican, by the way, tried to stop that vote from passing by just making up excuses and that sort of thing. But it did pass. And so we will at least get the financial information via subpoena from the Workplace Rights Office up until 2018. After 2018, the law changed where members, if they are caught sexually harassing somebody else, they have to personally pay back the fund. But generally speaking, almost every member who's had to do that has retired or quit Congress, so that the information doesn't get out. And that there's never any conclusion in Congress that then can be sought after or released. And so the files will go up to 2018, and we're talking about in some years $3, $4, $5 million a year. Now, out of that slush fund, it's not just members of Congress. There are government employees, federal employees at the Capitol who have been forced to pay out. The government's been forced to pay out those funds as well. So it's not just members of Congress. Others have been as well that are federally employed up here on the Hill. But I made a special point to redact the names of victims and witnesses and that sort of thing. And it almost didn't pass yesterday, but we got it through.
Wow. What's what does it say to the American people? When there is this kind of slush fund, and when so many members of Congress, I know that the vote wasn't particularly close. It's kind of extremely sad, but I know that there were hundreds and hundreds of members of Congress that voted against releasing the information here about the private sexual harassment slush fund.
Over 300.
Yeah.
Hundreds.
What does that say to the American people? Exactly.
Well, number one, it's shameful. Number two, it tells you, the American people, that Congress is full of it. Third, it tells you that there's a two-tiered system of justice, one for the elite, politically connected, and one for everybody else. And that's wrong. The sunshine is the best medicine. It's the best disinfectant. I'm here to turn the lights on. And, regardless of where the chips fall, you ought to be able to know what your member of Congress has been doing in their spare time.
Yeah, I do not. Okay, there it is. Look at that. The exact same time. Okay, Democrat Representative John Conyers. Most of his staff has seen him in his underwear, according to their aides. Here we go. Most of us have seen him in his underwear. The article, I'm not going to read it to you, Congresswoman, obviously, and your time is very valuable. But the article goes on to say that he's just constantly wandering around in his underwear, like sometimes without any clothes on at all, like walking around in his office, half dressed. And he'd call people in he'd call young female staffers in and not have any clothes on.
That's horrific.
What he was doing.
Yeah, that's horrific. That's disgusting. But that's the kind of thing that sometimes goes on up here. And there was a rumor yesterday, and I don't want to see the pictures, but, alleged very inappropriate photos of Tony Gonzalez that are floating around there. And this guy's just being defiant. And that young lady, literally offed herself, killed herself in the worst way, the most heinous way, setting herself on fire. And just being defiant about that. And we've got to be able to police our own. If we want to instill trust in the institution, trust within the Republican Party, because my biggest concern is what happens in a post-Trump world. Yes, how do we continue to build the party without the leader of the party, because he's been so good about bringing us all together? We have to reinstill trust in our institutions, trust in our party. And we don't do it by hiding things from the American people, regardless of the outcome. We are better off taking responsibility for our own, because then we can go after the Democrats and we can go after the outrageous and egregious behavior of the left, because we've ourselves cleaned up and policed our own. But nobody sees that long-term play here. And I think we have to be very cognizant. I just listened to you talk to Ken Paxton. I mean, thinking about the long term, where do we go from here? If we let Democrats get away with certain things, we're never going to have the same country you and I grew up in. And this is a spiritual battle. It's a battle between good and evil. And there are evil forces up here that are whittling away at democracy, at our republic, at our freedoms and our liberties, and even at our principles. And it's wrong.
It's totally wrong. You talk about very risque photos floating around. It's going to be hard. There's something
allegedly.
You talk about these risque photos floating around. You floated one right in front of the nose of Bill Clinton. This is the most viral clip, I think. And we track these things pretty closely. But your line of questioning was clearly the most viral with Bill Clinton. You were again with Hillary, I think. She lost her mind. But here you have Bill Clinton straight up gooning. I just can't believe it. I mean, he was having a time of his life. It seems like he was reminiscing. I don't mean to make light of this.
Yeah.
But his lawyer, it's remarkable. His lawyer had to snatch the photos back as Bill Clinton chuckles and dreams on as he looks at the hot tub photos of himself.
I think he's drooling there. He looks like he's drooling.
What's going on here, Congresswoman?
In the hot tub.
Please.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, when he was talking about the women in the hot tub, he was just basically I didn't know who any of these people were. You're literally the former president of the free world, of the United States of America. And you're telling me your Secret Service is just going to let you get in the hot tub with anybody. That person's never been vetted. And by the way, I don't believe it was the hotel's public pool. I didn't realize this till after. But the pool that he was talking about was part of the private suite I believe he was staying in. So it's just so much overwhelming. And then to deny that he was potentially a target of a honeypot operation or intel operation with a guy who was likely with Mossad, CIA, KGB, MI6, all the things. It's just not believable. And we did get Hillary and Bill, and I believe I got both of them testifying falsely. And they both pointed the finger, one blamed the other over Ghislaine Maxwell visiting their home. She blamed Bill and Bill blamed her. And that was false testimony, I believe. But, nothing's going to happen from it. Nothing. So, I think it's important that we get all the information, the truth out there. The American people can judge for themselves. And you can see how fake this whole thing is. But the funniest part of that, and it's not obviously funny, but it was hysterical to watch his attorney snatch the images out of his hands, because he's literally drooling right over those images. And then Hillary's screaming at me, becoming unhinged, totally unglued. I never had that on my bingo card, but it was one of the most gratifying experiences of my life. I checked that box on the bucket list. And to see her, I thought she was going to come across the table. Honestly, she was totally unhinged.
We have the footage playing right here, Congresswoman. Please, like, you got. We just hope you don't wind up in federal lockup one of these days with the red light on the camera going off in your cell, because you saw the rage. I mean, you saw it. You were able to elicit it out of Hillary Clinton by asking this series of questions, which seems extremely logical. And if you don't mind, I'll just set you up here. Inside of Jeffrey Epstein's emails, there is a clear and obvious pattern in dozens of emails that he knew Hillary Clinton personally, that he had physical contact with Hillary Clinton. I don't mean in a sexual way, but that he knows what she looks like up close and personal. He's able to book dinners with her. He's able to go to fundraisers with her. And so for Hillary Clinton, and this is what you were asking, how can you claim to not know Jeffrey Epstein when he claims to know you?
Right. And she also, I believe, falsely testified. This is where I caught her. She testified earlier in the day that she didn't seek out funds from Jeffrey Epstein. Well, then I pulled out the emails, and this is where she came unglued. I pulled out the emails where it showed an individual, Howard Lutnick, by the way, who was seeking funds on Hillary's behalf from Jeffrey Epstein. And that would happen over and over again. And we learned, too, that like Bill Clinton never sent an email, didn't text, didn't do phone calls. His staff allegedly was on his email doing the emails and making phone calls and texting and et cetera. But they had these intermediaries so that they could say with impunity, oh, I never reached out to Jeffrey Epstein or anybody, but they had other people doing it for them, it appears, in their testimony, which is why I say I caught her and Bill falsely testifying in that deposition.
You can tell a lot about somebody, if you press them on the right issue. It's human nature, right? If somebody says, hey, Benny, you have like a bunch of bodies buried in your backyard, I'll be like, get a shovel, right? I'll go dig with you. What are you talking about? That's insane. I'm not a serial killer. I'm just not. I know I'm not a serial killer. But if I was, you start to sweat. You start to worry. It's human behavior, right? Like, you don't freak out if somebody is clearly making up a lie about you. The Clintons freaked out here. They were clearly unhinged. The Hillary Clinton screaming at you is like an unhinged level of behavior. What does that? I mean, what does it tell you, Congresswoman? That like she reacted in such a violent. I mean, we have it on here. We've never seen Hillary. We've all supposed Hillary was this level of like maniacal, but like you actually proved it, right, with your questioning.
No, and it clearly touched a nerve. Clearly she was sensitive to it. And clearly, I believe she saw that she was caught with her hand in the cookie jar. And, when you get in front of these people, I mean, they spend millions of dollars to prepare for the hearings or testimony or depositions, and they're prepared for the hardest, toughest questions. But when you pull them logically through, like anybody would, just with common sense, I didn't go to law school. I didn't go to Harvard or Yale. I didn't do any of that. I'm just this girl from Goose Creek, and I'm just using American logic because I read what people say and I pay attention. I take notes on what the American electorate is looking for and interested in. And then you just pull them through logically with common sense, and they're not ready for that. I mean, they weren't built for that. And then they just fall apart. And it was a crushing defeat because we all know what she was like, and she tries to hide behind a cover of professionalism in public. But when you get at it and you show the testimony and the sensitive nature of it, I mean, she was off the rails. Like, yes. I know that I can be intense, but I've never seen anything like that before.
Yes. So, Congresswoman, you say that you caught them in lies. Could you elucidate for us what those are?
Well, the false testimony that I saw in Hillary's case, for example, she denied that she sought out funds from Jeffrey Epstein. Yet there were all these middlemen and women that were seeking out funds for her from Jeffrey Epstein. That was one. She denied knowing anything about Ghislaine Maxwell coming over to the home. But when I asked Bill, he said, well, that would have been for Hillary and her Senate run. That would have been related to her, right? And she pointed to him, hey, just go ask Bill why Ghislaine was there, right? And so to catch them in that false testimony, and I even asked Bill, I was like, did your wife falsely testify or did you falsely testify? And you saw their attorneys just dive in completely and would not let him answer the question because he couldn't speculate on his wife's testimony, right? But they were testifying sort of against each other. So one of them wasn't telling the truth. So which one was it? And in Ghislaine's own testimony from years ago, she admits just popping in, and she was invited to their personal home. I don't get invited to any president's personal home randomly. Nobody does. They don't pop in. You have to be cleared by Secret Service. And in the wedding photo you're showing right now, Ghislaine Maxwell conveniently was a +1 of one of their guests, and it was a small wedding. And you can't mean to tell me the former president of the United States doesn't vet anyone, like on the planes or at events or in pools. Like, that's not how it happens. They're trying to keep him alive and keep him safe from any enemies. Sure that they get death threats on a daily basis, and you're just gonna random people show up at your daughter's wedding, and they knew about Epstein and Ghislaine in 2008, and she shows up at the wedding. Like, you didn't even talk to your daughter about the number one best friend of Jeffrey Epstein after he became a convicted pedophile. Like, maybe your daughter shouldn't be hanging out with his friends. You didn't even have that conversation with your daughter. Like, to me, it was just totally unbelievable. And I'm just using Goose Creek logic, South Carolina, common sense. Like, that's all you have to do with these people because they're idiots. And I can't tell them.
They already like, I've been to the White House. You've obviously campaigned with President Trump across the country. You know what it's like to get through a Secret Service protocol, even as a member of Congress.
I mean, you get scrubbed down. They look at they do everything but get your blood type.
That's right. That's right. I've had to stand in everybody who's gone to the White House has to stand on those rubber mats, get sniffed by a German Shepherd, like that. Everyone except Hunter Biden, gets that treatment, because they don't want to get the German Shepherd high, I guess. But it's wild that they think that you're a spring chicken. They think you were born yesterday. They think that we're also stupid, that the Secret Service wouldn't vet the list of their daughter's wedding to make sure that no terrorist was there. And it's just, it is insane. We're so glad, I guess, that you proved that. I hope that something happens. I don't know.
I'm doubtful. I mean, we saw the establishment yesterday. All they do is protect their own. They protect each other because they don't want anybody to get exposed, because then it becomes a tit for tat, which is why I continue to fight harder than I ever have before. I have nothing to lose. I mean, they're coming at me with everything they got. And I just don't care. I just want the truth. And the American people deserve nothing less.
Yeah, I mean, please, like, don't walk your dog at night and get a food taster, and
I'm happy. I won't. I have no suicidal ideation. The air in my tires are full. I will not be committing suicide by shooting myself in the back as I hang from a tree. Okay, that will not be happening anytime soon. I'm a great mom. I love my children, putting them through college. Like, I have a great life right now, and I'm deeply grateful for it.
An important disclaimer. We should probably ask our guests to just come up with a disclaimer like that on these style of topics, just so everyone is aware.
I love life.
Yeah, we can obviously sense that, and we're thankful for you, Congresswoman. I want to encourage everybody to follow Nancy Mace, who is just one of those fighters who really just doesn't give a damn, and it's nice to have those, quite frankly. Maybe in conclusion, Congresswoman, and wow, goodness, you're almost 1 million subscribers for Nancy Mace, almost 1 million here. Go follow her. A closing question: what will you ask Bill Gates?
Oh, well, I want to know more about the Russian hookers, and did he really ply his wife with antibiotics in her drinks? And what did he see, and when did he see it? What did he know, and when did he know it? Was he the target of an intel operation? Was he the target of a honeypot operation? I think he knows a lot more than he's letting on, and I'm really grateful to Melinda Gates for providing some of that information in her interview. But also, Benny, I want to say thank you to you, because you've been on the forefront of this. You've been unafraid to speak the truth. You've been unafraid to put the information out there for the American people, for MAGA, and that's really important. The work that you're doing, you are helping lead the spiritual battle. We are going to defeat evil with good because of your work too.
Well, you know what? The truth is the light.
Yep.
And you should never be scared of that. And so, and frankly, there are bigger things in this life. Like, we're all going to be judged by a righteous God, and he's not going to ask for a Republican or a Democrat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And your purpose is being fulfilled. And I see that. I think a lot of people do too. And I'm deeply appreciative of it.
All right. Everybody follow the great Nancy Mace, ladies and gentlemen. And here we go. Thank you, Congresswoman.
Thank you. God bless.
Rocking great show. A massive shout out to an unsung hero on the program, who is Kara Kaplan, who is our wonderful booker and publicist who makes sure that we are able to get such fine guests. You had the entire slate of every single Texas Republican of note and made a ton of news on this program, along with Nancy Mace, who of course is, again, like doing God's work in Washington, D.C. and bull in a china shop, I guess. I don't know. It's been great. And so like just a massive shout out to booking out a slate of really newsworthy guests and putting together a locked and loaded show for you. We're going to keep fighting for you in this golden era. Go gold with Advantage Gold. Our wonderful partners at Advantage Gold can make sure that you are able to get in on the upswing of a wild gold and silver market. It's been great. The U.S. just facilitated a sale of gold from Venezuela to our treasury. It's really cool from yesterday. I don't know. It was like a small bit of news, but it was very cool to see. Can this happen? We're now buying all of Venezuela's gold, and all of Venezuela's oil is now coming through Texas? Like, that's cool. That's great. Good Trump versus bad Trump. Okay, I'm down with good Trump. Right? That's awesome. Can we get that kind of a deal? Can we roll that with Iran? That'd be amazing to see, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, point is that the governments of the world are buying gold, and you know why. So you can get started today. Text Advantage Gold by texting Benny to 85545 right now. That's BENNY to 85545 right now. You'll instantly get a free gold investment kit, and, well, gold keeps breaking records. So text Benny to 85545 right now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show for the day. I guess we'll go ahead and check in what the what do the markets say for the Texas Senate election winner? Democrat down. Thank goodness. Goodness gracious. This is a tough market. So what are the so 70% for Republican. How will the Texas Senate race go? We don't have a candidate yet. It'll be Paxton or Cornyn. You all know my thoughts on Cornyn. But it's been a pretty sharp decline over the last couple of days for Democrats. Good. James Talarico is a lunatic. You love to see that. God help us. You know what I mean? Seriously, God help us. From Jeremiah, our verse of the day, 10:2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Learn not the way of the heathen. That should have been the title of the show, ALX. Based on poor ALX had to go through every James Talarico clip known to man. Poor guy. Learn not the way of the heathen. It is heathen what that guy is. And we're not going to be like him. We're going to follow in our faith. We're going to state clearly and concisely that Christ is king. That is our faith. That is what a Christian is. And wish you blessings as you head off into your Thursday. Godspeed. It's your boy Benny. March with us on to victory. See ya.
It took years to develop the most woke creature of the Democrat Party. A creature so woke and retarded that it believes in its core programming that men should have abortion rights. Weak, beta males who come into contact with this creature will suddenly have the urge to order fresh kale and complain about your diesel truck because Talarico was bred from the stem cells of the woke mind virus. He is the most deranged swamp creature ever created.
Truth gon' be faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies. Watch the truth cascade with the warrior's heart. This man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny shows the storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salt in all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light.